Hey everybody, welcome back to Tomcat Zone for another episode of our 12th Scenario 12 Indian Ocean War conflict here. I just want to say I was watching back to my previous video and still getting a lot of chop, and I don't know how to fix that, guys. I apologize. I'm working with some freeware. OBS is the name of the company that creates this free video capturing software, and it works great. Obviously, it's easy to use, and I'm having a good time with it. But I'm still having a hard time figuring out why it, I'm it doesn't react immediately. If this were a first-person shooter that I was trying to record, I think it'd be a waste of time. But I didn't think I'd have this much trouble with just moving counters around on the screen. Excuse my chair, this stupid old chair here that creaks so much. Anyway, it is what it is, but welcome back, and here we are again, Fifth Fleet, and we are going into game turn 12, which is the evening turn, the PM turn of game day 4, which is cool. I'm going to have some F-111s coming available in Abu Dhabi soon. They flew up from Diego Garcia and landed in Abu Dhabi, and now it has some F-111s with some 90 bomb strength coming up with the new day. So I'm ready for this evening to be over. The great thing about this video is we're going to have pretty much all log files. I don't remember what was the circumstances back in, I think December is when we played this, but obviously we had free time, or didn't have the time to face it, and we ran this series of game turns all as log files. Not that it's a great thing, but I'll be honest with you, it's probably the log files are probably pretty short too, because we're as you can see, he's got command failure across the north, which means his aircraft have been grounded this whole day. Command failure in Saudi Arabia. That doesn't affect him, does it? Oh no, I thought he had command failure in the Persian Gulf. Command failure over here in India. Had command failure in Sumatra. I guess the command failure didn't bother him at all, did it? Didn't affect any of his major aircraft. Was there storms or anything? Were we in a storm? No, no storms. Anyway, still the number of craft and ships that we have available is starting to diminish, drastically. So I think these log files move pretty quickly. But I want to get through all of them and get through the 6 game turns, or 6 action segments, I should say, of this game day, or game turn, I should say, and come to an end of game day 4 here with this video. And so let's get started. If you look here, let me go first. Action. See, good. Okay, so good morning, Douglas. Scott writes me. May I call you Douglas? Capitalist dog will suffice. Yeah, that's fine, Scott. Anyway, we rolled for initiative. He won, and he starts with submarines. That is his go-to here. Those are his killing machines, and he's had a lot of success with them. So let's see what he gets done here. All right, so the subs go, and he's moving these little diesel boats around that Oskel. For a nuke, it only moves at a speed of 2, so that must be a really early version of some kind of alpha or whatever it is. Anyway, the Yakoras here, there's a mighty, I think it's a Foxtrot, maybe? Diesel boat comes up to attack my Kakra, the Indonesian Kakra, and he rolls a 4, which is a miss. The Shishmar attacks the Sea Lion, he rolls a 9, and boom, the Australians lose the last of their combat vessels in this game. And that's a shame. The only thing they have left to float on the map here is their combat supply ship called Success. Of course, they have aircraft available, but no more warships. So nothing worse than losing a sub because they are worth good points. They are great offensive machines, and they're great defensively trying to find them. But he got a lucky roll there, killed the boat. The Bengala attacks the Kakra. 2 misses. He rolls for detection, and the Bengala is found. I think that might have been questionable. I don't know if a 4 ASW value allows you to search for. I think it does because he attacked me. So yeah, never mind. We continue here. The Bombay attacks Cochran. He rolls a 7. He misses. As I said, it's really hard to harm a sub here. And again, I get a detection on the Bombay. All right. The Kotov moves north to try and catch up with Task Force 4, I should say. The Tresca, is that the Tresca? Yeah, the Tresca diesel boat comes down here to interdict my carrier task force. Just by being there, he's restricting my path. I'm going to have to maneuver so that he doesn't get a detection on me, because I really don't want, well, truthfully, with Task Force 4, I'm far enough away from any land-based bombers to worry about it. But still, if he gets a detection on any of my ships, he can, bring these subs in to attack. Right now, all he can do is try and find me. So the Sindharaj moves south to try and add its picket here. And the Shankus moves at full speed. Where's the Shankus? Where was the Shankus? I don't know where the Shankus is. I do know that it's a Russian boat. Anyway, I don't know where it is. The Balkash will attack the Sea Devil. Okay, the Sea Devil has a local detection on it. And he rolls an 8, and he gets hit on another one of my valiant technological wonders that the U.S. fleet has. Unable to do anything against his subs, though. All right, roll for detect. It's a 4, so I get no detection, even though he puts a torpedo in me, or at least close proximity, causing an explosion within. All right, his Sindavage. Is this the Sind? Yeah, his Sindavage. Head south. He doesn't get detected because I don't think I've got the ability, the strength of a ASW as he moved around the Humat there to find him. You need 6 or better, as even if it's combined between 2 units. You need at least 6 or better to be able to detect another sub. All right, the Rykov is moving. The Rykov moves into, again, trying to find my Task Force 3. The Nogan comes in. He maneuvers all these boats around, but he can't attack anything because he doesn't have detection markers. So the only thing it's doing is putting my ships in a position that he will detect them once I activate them. Okay, the Beluga will torp Task Group 2. Task Group 2 is the remainder of the Brits.
I found these results.
Okay, Google, stop. Sorry about that, guys. The phone is chatting with me. The Task Force 2, or Task Group 2, is the remainder of the Brits here. There were 4 ships here. If you guys remember, I took them 4 ships in the last video that I did. The French Duguay Trouville or something like that, and another the Amazon, or another one of the British fast frigates. But it was found when it attacked his Task Force 1. So somewhere in between the last 4 or 5 action segments that in the last video that we just kind of had an analysis of, would have been probably wise to open up the task forces to see what was left of who and what was killed. But bottom line is the Beluga is now attacking the remnants of Task Group 2, which is just a couple of British ships left. And let's see what happens here. 14 on the Cumberland, 4 on the Gloucester. He's got a 10 ASW defense, +2 for detected, meaning because I know where he's at, I get a +2 to my defense die roll. I roll a 1, isn't that great? Which is a 3. That's a -3 to his attacks. Cumberland first. He rolls a 6 and a 7. That's 3 on the Cumberland for 3 result. She goes down. 4 on the Gloucester for a 1 result. So bottom line is my task group is gone. And the Brits are now down to just the Gloucester remaining afloat, as well as their turbulent nuke boat here that's been causing a lot of problems for him in the Socotra zone. Okay, the Bay Call will torp the Gloucester, so his other sub here will attack with 22 torpedo attack. ASW defense is 3, -4 to the task, -4 to the roll because I'm no longer in any kind of task group or task force. He rolls a 4, which is a 0, or a 4 on a 0 was his attack modifier. He rolls a 4 on a 22, and the Gloucester is blown to pieces. And glug, 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 as he says there, she goes down with all hands. So in the nighttime hours of our 4th day of combat, the Brits are removed, along with the Australians, as viable combat forces here in our war. No detection. Of course, he didn't need to because there was nothing left of the ship that he killed. The Griff will move at full speed, he says. And that's all of his sub-attacks. So that was his sub-round. Let's bring up the next video, or the next save. All right, so we continue here. So he sends it back to me as a log file. I review it, kind of bummed out about the losses of more of my combat ships. It's torpedoes and subs are dangerous in this game, as I've stated many times over now. Okay, so we look here, and the roll, no roll for initiative. I start with air, which is cool. Now I'm going to point something out here real quick, guys, because it doesn't come into play this turn, but I want you to just notice one little thing here. If you look at the Lincoln's Air Patrol, Combat Air Patrol, okay, the green area is everything that my F-14 Tomcats can defend, okay? His cap over Russ Karma is the same, okay, obviously. There's this one hex that they are combined in, okay? That becomes important here soon, and I want you guys to just keep this in mind as you play your games. Overlapping caps can create windows of opportunities, and you'll see him, well, when we get there, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I just want to kind of point that out there. It's amazing what one hex can create as far as stress goes. All right, so combat, or not combat, ships, combat ships, yeah. I decided to go with ships to start with ships. All right, or air, excuse me. I'm talking about ships here. Launching air. All right, so down in Diego, my P3 Orions take off, and they fly out to attack the Sindharaj. I've got an 8 combined ASW rank strength, and on the CRT, on an 8 column, 7 to 9, going down to score a 4 or a 5, I need a 7, 8, or 9. A 4 or a 5 is half of the strength of most subs in this game. So I got a 30% chance to kill or hit this thing, not kill it, but hit it. And he's got a 7 strength there. So I rolled a 7. Boom, and that's a hit. So finally, my P3 Orions get some blood in the water, and the Cinderage is hit. Those Orions return to base. Next launches my Orions out of Singapore. I think they're alone this time, though, because the distance they have to fly, I can't do the dance and cross over and pick up the other Orion. But he flies out by himself to attack the Bengala. And I roll a 9. Boom, another hit. That's a great thing. Getting some payback on all these subs. In case you didn't understand that roll, that was my Aussies out of Singapore. I guess I rolled the dice before I said I was going to roll the dice. Georgetown P3 Orion launches to go hit the Bengala. I roll a 2, and so she goes home empty-handed. Still, I'm happy with my results. The Enterprise launches her S3 Viking to attack on the Cinderage here, and I get a 1, so she flies back empty-handed. The ASW off the Lincoln flies out to attack the Beluga, and I roll 3, and again, goes home with nothing to show for it. All right, here's a big strike. Okay, so my A6's launch off of the Lincoln along with F-18s. Just seeing those stacks kind of jump around a bit there because I didn't want to drag the sub along with it. So F-18s and A6s. I got a range of 2. If you look at my combat strength here, guys. S2 Sea Skimmers, 2 range. Again, we were talking about that window of opportunity. Well, not that I want to enter that window of opportunity because that would give his Roskarma aircraft an opportunity to attack me. But I don't need to. I've got 2 distance. So I'm bringing a 80-point attack here on Task Group 1. And Task Group 1, of course, is the remainder of these warships that escorted the Tbilisi. I'm going to get every piece of Soviet kill I can get. I want A for the points and also because, well, a little payback. So 100 skimmer attack on Task Group 1. I roll for location. I get the top of the stack. So 80 attack. I meant an 80 attack, not 100. I just put 38 on the Isakov, 42 on the Petropavlovsk. You have a +2 for area and a 3 close for Isakov, 6 for Petropavlovsk. So on the 5 and 8 column, respectively, you have no other defense mods. Your rolls, roll a 5. Okay, that is a -3 to both my attacks. I roll for the Isakov first and the Petropavlovsk. Roll an 8 and a 0. Both ships are sunk. Boom and boom. Just by the sheer volume of those attacks. Even with a 0 at a minus, what was it, -3? Even with a 0 at -3, if you look at the CRT, -3, going over here into the 50s and the 40s, it gives me a 2 result of damage. And these ships are already damaged. They've got 4 strengths, but half of that is a 2. This is a second hit on them. So boom, boom, they die. And now he's in a position where all he has left is that one ship, the Zakharov. No, the Zhudnov. And so it was a successful attack. That was great. And my aircraft fly home. Okay, B-52 bomber launches out of Diego, makes the long run here, you guys. This is fun. I always love this. I love counting these long flights out for the big bombers just because it's always cool to, I don't know, picture the approach there. Okay, again, we attack from a range of 2 with a 60 attack against the Zhudnov. Let's see, at 45 hex flight, the B-52 launches 60 SSM on the Zhudnov. You have a 3 defense and a -4 to the roll. Your roll is 2. That is a 0 modifier to my attack. My roll is 0. So let's look at this. A 0 result with a 0 modifier on the 60 column is a 4. Wait a second. I roll a 0. Hold on a second. Let me look at this one. That is a 0 modifier. What was the Zhidnov? Let's flip that back over. Oh, it was a 5 defense. So the Zhidnov had a 5 defense. If I rolled any higher than a 0, excuse me, I was about to cuss there. I don't want to do that kind of stuff here. If I rolled a 2 on the die or higher, I had an 80% chance. I had a 100% chance to damage it. But if I could just roll 80% or better on this dice, I could have killed that ship. B-52 couldn't even make the long flight to kill a ship. I think I even say something here. Laugh out loud, only damage the ship. And I do cuss in the text there, so hopefully you guys ignore that. So that is my error. I roll for initiative. Boom! I rolled a 2, positive or not positive, but even number. That's me again. So I'll activate subs, and we see the turbulent attacks the Zhidnov with a 22 torpedo attack. I roll a 5, and the Zhidnov is killed. Task Force 1 is effectively nullified, and the Soviets now have their convoys and the Kiev, which is way down south still. No longer a threat to my northern fleets and my full tankers that I'm still trying to get out to sea. Turbulent then moves. The Mont Rivers goes to attack the Beluga, hits her with a 9. I roll to detect and roll 4. No, he doesn't find me. The Seawolf moves. I try to move it so that I can only enter. I don't know what the point of the zigzag was there, so I guess I wanted positioning on Task Force 2 or something for my next go. But you get 2 detection attempts for my Seawolf because he moves through 2 zones of submarines there. He rolls a 5 and a 0. Of course, I roll a 0, and he detects the sub. Mont Rivers attacks the Beluga. Well, the Mont Rivers already did. I meant Seawolf. I roll a 1. Again, no effect. The Haddock moves, and it's the same situation. He gets 2 checks. He rolls a 4 and a 3. The Haddock, a 4, 3, and a 7. The Haddock is not found. Attacks the Beluga. Roll an 8. Very close. Wait. 6 attack. Yeah, I would have needed a 9. Let me look at that once. On the 6 column, 5 to 6. A 4. That's strange. Beluga is attacked. I rolled an 8. I put no effect there. The Haddock had a 6. 5 to 6 on an 8 would have been a 4, and the Beluga would have been sunk. I messed up there. Now the Beluga gets to try and detect the Haddock, and I roll a 1, and I put, I'm getting angry there but that 8 would have killed that sub. See, like I said earlier in the last video, there's little things like this where you guys, you miss you miss this or that, and sometimes it's, can be detrimental to the game. Sometimes it's no big deal. That would have been a difference. That ship would have been, my ship wouldn't have been found. His sub would have been sunk. Of course, last turn 2, we saw that I miscalculated on the Zhidnov on the surface to air-to-surface missile attack. So, you got to be careful. Obviously, you want to make sure you're trying to be as thorough as possible. Otherwise, you get these little moments where you go, "Hey, I don't know what all this stuff is." There was some corrections, but I go back and now we're moving in the south. The Sea Devil moves to attack the Cinderage. I roll an 8. That's a miss. The Key West goes to attack. I roll a 6. No effect. Again, gotta love these elite machines, as I say. Test for detection. 0. And the Key West is found. And I cuss again. And the Albany and the Miami move up and then move back down. And then I rechange how I place them because I want them to start coming over here to try to destroy some of these subs that are constantly harrying my forces. The Cockerel attack the Beluga in a 4. Not a damn thing. She moves away. The Hashmat and moves, and that is it for this log file. Let's bring up the next one. Okay, so I just finished air and my subs. It's his turn, and he activates his surface vessels. Let's see what he does here. Task Force 2 continues to move around in crazy paths underneath the Ross Karma's air cover. At this point, no big deal. He moves the Vikrant or the Virat. I think that's the Vikrant. I think we looked at that last game and found out it was the Vikrant. Yeah, it's a Virat. Virat moves across South Arabian Sea to close in on my Lincoln group. I'm not real worried about it. Patrolcraft moves. He continues his southern fleets. Again, he moved that group around. I don't know why. Rolls the initiative, and it's back to me. His ships kind of danced around in his log file here. Nothing really major going on. Just trying to get closer. Those two are his southern fleets. That's the Kiev and the Vikrant, and they are now racing north to try and interdict, if not the Enterprise, certainly the Lincoln. I don't know. He's got a lot of distance to cover like me. I've got to get the Enterprise, as I said before, to Karachi here. And when you look at this map in its full size here, this is Karachi right here where my mouse is, and the Enterprise is way down here. It's only game turn 14, or no, we're in game turn 12. No. Yeah, 12. What are we in? God, my brain is shot. Excuse me, guys. We're in game turn 12, yeah. And we go until this game goes to 36. But although I got a lot of days left here, a lot of distance to cover, get those points, and we're still at a Soviet marginal victory at this point, just because of the sheer number of ships he's killed, air bases he's destroyed. I need these ships to get to base to close the gap there. I will say it's a close Soviet marginal victory. I'm talking I need something like 20 points to bump over the threshold and move it to an Allied marginal victory at that point. As long as I don't lose any more ships, of course, and only kill his, right? Anyway, that's that log file. Let's bring up the next log file. All right, so we get to the last two action segments here of the game. You noticed I haven't moved my ships yet, and there was a reason for that. I'm going to, when I move this ship, because I'm crossing through these limited detection zones of these subs, it will immediately place a detection marker on my ship, because I moved through a zone. If my ships stay there at the next local detection phase, which is the beginning of every action cycle, he would have placed a local detect. But until I either moved or that phase occurs, no local detection markers placed. So his bombers can't attack anything and all that kind of stuff. So he's got air left and surface. So his bombers haven't been able, so that's why I moved ships and subs, and the subs haven't been able to harm anything. So when you're going to see now as I move this ship, but the cool thing is I'm going to move it beyond the detection zone because of its speed of 3. Even though I'm going to gain a local detection marker as I move over these ships, we're coming to the end of the game turn. And at the end of each game cycle is the removal of local detection markers. So even though I gain one now, I'm going to lose it in the same turn. So if I'd moved my ships earlier, it would have given him more opportunity to pester them or attack them with something, but we didn't. So it's better that they sat there. That now it's time to move ships. So you're going to see as Task Force 4 moves 3 hexes, I move over his Sindharaj here into this space with the Key West. Because I move through 2 zones, as you can see, I place a local detection flag on Task Force 4. But Task Force 4 then attacks the Sindharaj. And Task Force 4 has a 23 ASW strength. 23 ASW strength. To kill this sub, all I need to roll is a 4 or better on a D10. So good odds. The sub's already damaged. I roll a 4. Boom. And that is the end of, that's actually, I think the first, no, it's not the first Indian sub die, but that Indian ship goes down. Again, with that movement though, you guys are going to see, I'm no longer, with the end of this game turn, my task force is no longer in a local detection range or limited detection range of any of his counters. So I'll lose that local detection, and the Enterprise disappears in the night, which is very cool. Need that to happen. Okay, Task Force 3 sails, and this is crazy. I don't know why I did this. I moved, but I guess I wanted to kill another sub just because I wanted the points on the board, as I was saying. I want to move this thing from an Allied victory to or a Soviet marginal victory to an Allied victory and sweep as many ships off the board as I can as I pass. Probably would have been better to continue a little further, but you know, this Beluga is down to a speed of 1. It's only got an 8 torpedo value. And the only thing I'm really thinking back on this now, I'm thinking, well, I probably wanted the points. 7 points is still 7 points. So I moved Task Force 3 here to attack, and Task Force 3 has a strength of 20 against the Beluga. I roll a 5, and again, that too is a kill. The Beluga goes down. That's 14 points to add to my victory between those 2 subs. I'm kind of happy about that. Task Force 5, Task Force 1, fast groups, they head south, and along with the what's it called, the Kibar, like I'd have to look at what that ship's called, move south towards to join up together. Again, moving these combat supply ships out of the way. I don't know why I'm even bothering with that. Going to do some arranging of my task forces real quick. So what am I talking about? So basically moving the Saudis to regrouping them under Task Force 2, just to again consolidate, make the screen easier to deal with instead of having to scroll up and down. Something else is going on. What's going on now? Don't know. Anyway, went through, I was clicking on or moving something around. That's the end of that log file. Let's bring up the next one. All right, we have one more log file here for action segment 6. This was a great turn. We got the whole thing recorded, so always fun to see. This is what I was talking about a minute ago. Watch this now. So again, last action segment, he's got his aircraft to launch. So remember when I was talking about this one little hex here, right here at 1721, where my combat air patrol overlapped his combat air patrol? So we were talking about this one hex overlapping. Well, like I said, I got greedy and I wanted to hit the Beluga and get points on the screen. So if you look here, I've just overlapped my carrier cap with his by 2. Okay. This is what happens when you aren't watching every aspect of your game here. And this was a window of opportunity that I created for him. So this is a log file, understand? Now, he's doing this at his house. Of course, Scott lives out west in California. I'm out east in Ohio. It's nighttime where I'm at. It's daytime where it's 3-hour difference. So I'm out at dinner with my family, and of course he's like sending me a log file and stuff. So this is great. Watch what happens here. This was the highlight of the whole game for me, guys. I love this, and it pissed him off so much, but it was so wonderful. So anyway, he launches air, and okay, you see he starts to look at his assets available here. I'm going to go back a minute. So up in Baku here, right? He's got the Tupolev 160, which has got a 40 attack capability. He's got Tupolev 16 electronic warfare. They got a range of 70, right? So he's got some long-range bombers and support craft here. Down in Ashgabat, he's got another Tupolev backfire bomber with the range of 90 with a 60 bomb strength. So all in all, missile strength. Both of them at a range of 4. Okay, these freaking shipwreck missiles that the Soviets had for their aircraft, and with their tremendous, basically drones, long-range drones that they launched, and so he's got 100 points of SSM strength, and I just created an open door for him at a range of 4. So he launches his Tupolev 160 out of Baku. He mates him up over Ashgabat, and the rest of the aircraft, the electronic warfare, and the Tupolev backfire, Tupolev 22 backfire bomber join up, and they make the transit. He's hopping around, but he's counting stuff out here. I know what he's doing, but he brings these guys to there. Now he's got a 4 missile range, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So because I moved that cap screen to where it was, actually it was there before. It didn't need to be 2 in. He just needed to be 1 side within my cap screen. So here's the problem. And he goes, I've checked the ranges, which are good, except my EW, which will use mid-air refueling. Okay, no big deal. It's 42 hexes to 1720. So he's flown into a perfect window against me. My air-to-air is 14, counting Roskarma. So if you look at his air-to-air here, he's got 2 points here for these 2 bombers. But because his cap over Roskarma is in this envelope, he can include that cap strength. And that cap strength over Roskarma is 2 MiG-23s at 12 points total, plus the 2 bombers. 1 and 1 is 14. That's where he's getting his 14. Bombers over land, I should say, have no reduction in their strength. They can attack all the way to the extreme of their cap range and have full strength ability, right? So he has a 14 in this hex, or right over Roskarma. It doesn't matter. Anywhere within the envelope of his cap, he's got full strength. So he's got 14 points of combat air-to-air strength. Now over the Lincoln, I have, let's look here real quick, guys. I have a good strength. I've got 18 points plus an electronic warfare. Great. Our 2 electronic warfare aircraft actually negate each other, which is great. But my 18th air-to-air strength is reduced every step it goes outside of 2 hexes from my carrier. So at 3 hexes, my combat air strength goes down to half, which means 18 is now a 9. At 4 hexes, it's quartered, which means it's now, and you always have to round down in this aspect. So 4 goes into 18 4 times. So my combat air, my Tomcats are now a strength of 4 against his 14. 14 to, I'm the attacker, which means you round up the ratio for his benefit as the defender. 14 to 1 is 3 to 1 odds on his attack. And if we look at the air-to-air chart here for 3 to 1 odds, or 1 to 3 odds, I guess I should say, because the left side of the dice or these ratios is always the attacker. The right side is always the defender. He will return me on a 5 or less, which is actually includes 0. So that's a 60% chance that he will send me home. If he rolls a 5, he's going home too. But the bottom line is, if he sends me home, the Lincoln no longer has any combat air patrol over her, which means all of his other bombers can start flying in. And he's got a lot of bombers. Here in Roskarma, he's got nothing. I thought he had some bombers there. But he does have this bomber up here in, where is this? This is Kabul. 60 bombing strength. He's got, I think even the Kamran might even make it here in Aden. Well, it was my worry that he had more bombers. I'm not seeing them now. Maybe I had eliminated a lot of his bomber fleet. But anyway, I was worried. I'm like going, I can't lose my combat air patrol. If I send these guys out here to attack these guys and try and drive these bombers away, I got 1 to 3 odds against me. So I decided the other option is you can leave your Tomcats, instead of doing a combat air patrol, you can leave them in the fight, but use them as anti-missile defense. If you look here under surface-to-surface missile, if you have any F-14s in the mix, you get a +1 to your defense die roll. Well, to me, that is more appealing than losing my combat air patrol and having them, even if they're only sent home, opening up my ships to his full attack of any other aircraft he might be able to muster. But anyway, it's a critical moment in the game, and he stops. He goes, okay, your air to air is 7. It's down, he gets to 6 1/4. It should have been a 4. But anyway, he texts me and he says, hey, listen, this is what's going on. What do you want to do? Do you want to come out and meet me and fight with your Tomcats? And he's hassling me, and I'm sitting at dinner with my family, and I said, no, dude. I said, I'd rather just leave well enough alone. I'll take the defense bonus to my die roll and, try and make sure that I get as best roll I can against this 100 SSM attack. Now, if he puts 90 points of that SSM attack into my carrier, and I get a weak defense die roll, guys, 90 points here, he could potentially sink the Lincoln. It could, this is critical for me. So he stops the log file, as you saw there. So let me bring up the next half of the log file, because he restarts it. So because of my short-sightedness, I'm created this window of opportunity for his bombers to come in on me. And he says, so you've chosen to be here with your capitalist dog masters, engage my bombers with your cap. 8. Boom, just kidding. You chose not to engage and keep your precious kitty cats in the rear with the gear. He's making fun of me because I told him, again, over the phone, text messages, nah, keep the Tomcats in place, close in, we'll attack, we're going to blow these missiles away as they come in. At least that was my hope and goal. So here we go. I got 100 SSM attack against the Lincoln group. I know he's going to clobber my aircraft carrier. That's, I just know it's coming. I'm at dinner with my wife, like I said, and I'm like, I'm sweating bullets. I'm like going, oh man, this sucks. Anyway, so my die roll to see where I attack. And so he has to roll to see where his 100 SSM attack is going to happen. And he rolls a 0. Now, for those that know this game, you know what that means. For those that don't, if you roll a 0 or a 9 on your SSM attack, what it means is the player, prior to the attack, on an even roll, on a roll of 0 or 9, the defender selects 1 unit in the hex as the target. So I get to pick 1 unit in my task force that all that 100 SSM strength is going to. And so I said, well, dude, I don't even know what I got in my task force. He sends me a picture of my task force. And I've got all, Lincoln's got all of these full tankers, and I'm looking and I'm going, okay, who do I want to give up? And then I started to laugh because I forgot we kept the auxiliary ships in the game. The Sacramento is here. It's a combat supply ship, you know. So I start laughing, and my wife, I'm dinner, like I said, my wife starts looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, going, babe, this is the greatest thing ever. But anyway, so I said, okay, there you go, Sacramento, and I give him the Sacramento as his target, and he goes, Admiral Doug Benedict Arnold Jones has chosen the defenseless sack town. So 100 SSM versus a 37 area air and a 5 close area air for a 42 defense. It's good strength there. I was really happy with my task force strength there. Your defense roll is +2 for task force, +1 for F-14s, +2 for AEW, for total +5. So die roll +5. Your die roll. I roll a 7, which is a 12. Okay. So we look at the CRT here. On 42, what it was, he's got a -10 to his attack. What a wonderful game this is. So my attack is a -6 for the die roll and -4 for range equals -10. So essentially he's got a -20 to his attack. -20 to my dice roll. That's where he gets it. -6 is for, I don't know what the -6 was. What he came up with. The bottom line is he's got -20. And he cusses at me, and he rolls a 1 on his attack, dude. So that is a 1 result only because the CRT doesn't go any effing lower. But bottom line, with his 100 attack here, if you look at the CRT, he rolls a 0. He basically gets a 1, gets the lowest score possible. So he does a 1 on 90, and he can't even damage the Sacramento, let alone kill it. It was the funniest moment in the game, guys. Those that play this game, obviously, you can find the humor here, but his aircraft go back to the bases. So then he sends out his bomber that was rigged and ready to hit my task force once my Tomcats were out of play. All he has to attack is this poor Pakistani fast frigate, which he has a strategic detection on. He hits it with a 60 bomb, and he rolls a 1. Or no, he rolls the attack stack. I don't know what. He gets an 8, boom, result, and the Pakistani ship goes down, and he lands. And then his aircraft attacks subs, and they miss. And let me know if you see anything else. And he says, I'm so pissed, I can't see straight. I think that comes at the CSN 3473 is undetected. So he pulls a detection marker, and then he calls it. So that's the end of the game turn, guys. And that was the end of the game day. It's morning for the next video where we'll be setting up a whole new game day with all the fun stuff of the morning, miscellaneous random events and stuff like that. But this was a fun moment in this game. It truly, what I like to think it really was his last hurrah, because truthfully, after I realized where I'm sitting in relation to his excuse me, his combat air patrol over Roskarma, I'm thinking I need to get initiative and I need to get the hell out of here fast. And so but the best part about it too, though, is the local detection will disappear. Like I said, I'm not in any limited detection zones in that local detection. So even if I do sit there, he no longer has me detected, and his bombers can't come back out for me. So it was a great turn. It was great fun. That's pretty much it for this video, though, guys. If you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. And I should have another one up sometime this weekend, maybe. Thanks for watching. Take care.